In previous videos, we have set up grain budgets, overhead, and how cash surplus and profits will put that all together into showing us how profitable and how much cash surplus we have for the year. These are all operational items, and in other words, saying is that this is what happens during the year. Net worth is about what are we starting the year with. And so let's start with working capital. Here in the year 2000, I don't have any inventory. So when we start talking about sales, up until now we were only selling the crops that we grew this year. What about crops that we bring in from last year that hasn't yet been sold? How do we bring them in? Well, that's where we go to the working capital page. In working capital, if we go and open up canola, it's going to show you what the year start is for every year that there is canola. When the numbers are in red, it means that the program is calculating what the number should be. Let's start off this year with 500 tons. And a price. Remember this number here where it says 798 is expected to be carried over before we enter this number. It's showing us here 500 tons. Now let's go to that sales and inventory page. We now have 500 tons to start the year with. We're going to sell 200 tons in 2000 and another 100 tons in 2001. Let's go back to that working capital now and open up canola again. See how this number has changed? That there was 798 tons, but that's before it knew that we were starting the year with 500. Also remember is that we had a 100-ton sale in 2001, so 2002 is going to start with 100 less tons than 2001 did. Every year that is red means that the program is calculating what the number should be. Every year that it's black means that that is a number that somebody has put in that they want it to be. In this case, it looks like they were oversold. In 2011, they want to make sure they're starting with 3,300 bushels. This is done in the very same way that we entered 500 tons here in 2000. Net worth is what we start the year with. It makes sense that we're also starting 500 tons in the actual. Or if we're in plan B, so net worth is always the starting place, the January 1st of the year, so to speak. What we do in operations is going to be from that point forward. Let's go to percent sold actual. Percent sold actual, if you remember, is at 44,000 bushels. That hasn't changed. The 500 tons does not affect the percent sold page. But it does show up in sales and inventory. Let's sell some of that crop. So here we're at the year 2000, but this was seeded previous year, 1999. Canola, 400 tons. Starting with 500 tons, selling 400 of that in March of 2000, so we have 100 tons remaining old crop, adding the grain budgets to it, and so we come up with the year end, 897. Let's go back to that working capital page and look at canola again. This number has adjusted to the 400 tons of the old crop that we sold in the year 2000. And the numbers in black do not change, but the red ones have been. Adding another crop is done the same way. We've now added another starting inventory. If we go to the percent sold page, we do not have that new crop because it does not belong here. We don't have a grain budget. When we go to the sales and inventory page, now a starting inventory for buckwheat. Let's go to assets. The assets now reflects an inventory starting of 502 tons. Let's add another to handle all equipment. And then at the end of the year, we're going to have 90% residual depreciated by 10% for the year. And create. Our asset summary is showing the equipment that we put in is worth $900,000. Well, how can that be when we said it was worth $1 million? Let's open it up. In 1999 it was worth $1 million and it depreciated by 10%. If we were to change that number and click OK, that number is now black. Let's take a look at overhead. We now have a calculated depreciation number worth of $95,000. If we made a mistake, we can undo it. Let's lift the little garbage can by the year 2000, confirm delete, and we're back to the $900,000 that we started with. Go to operations, and you'll see how the calculated depreciation is now revised. What about liabilities? If we have some loans in the operation, we can put them in too. The loan that we're coming in with, $500,000. 4% interest, payments of $25,000 semi-annually. The program calculates 6 months from the known balance, what each payment does to the loan and the new calculations. Click OK and create. So the equipment loan is $500,000 and it's broken down in principal and interest. Let's go to overhead. The interest of that loan is now brought in automatically, and so has the principal payment. In a previous video we showed how you can add principal and interest without adding loans, but you also have the option of putting the loans into liabilities and having the program bring in the appropriate interest and principal payments for you. Net worth is not part of operations, but depending on what you start the year with, whether it's starting inventory, equipment, or loans that we have, will improve the accuracy of operational activity for the year.